Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Shorr Solutions, the podcast. So, with this particular episode, you will notice it is just me, your hostess for the day, Mara Shorr. And you're going to notice a few solo episodes, and then Jay Shorr is going to be right on back with us. So, my father and business partner, we just had a few episodes that I wanted to talk to everybody alone. And so today, what we're going to talk about are some of the top resume red flags when you have applicants that are coming to your practice. They're either turning in resumes, they're giving you resumes through Indeed or any of the other ways that resumes are coming to you via email. We've honestly even seen social media. Now, I will tell you that you're going to hear me talk a lot about the Great Resignation. And for those of you not familiar, that is the absolutely bananas situation that has been going on where employees are leaving their previous workplaces or current workplaces at a pretty rapid rate. And it started during COVID, when COVID first started in 2020, when this first became an issue. And really, we have seen it just continue to increase the rate at which team members are leaving and employees are leaving their practices. We're also seeing that it is certainly not just limited to medical, cosmetic, aesthetic practices or med spas. This is an issue that really touches every single workplace sector in the world. So this is not something that is just necessarily alone to our specific industry, but it's something that we really wanted to touch on. So I have my checklist here to make sure. I'm going to give you the top 5 resume red flags. So as you are receiving those resumes, whether your practice is growing or if you are replacing team members that have vacated, and I want you to know that you are not alone with that situation. If you have seen an exodus of employees in your practice, you are absolutely not alone. It's not something to be embarrassed about or ashamed of. We have seen this with nearly all of our clients. There are a handful that haven't experienced this, but you are absolutely not alone. So I wanted to start off by saying you should not be ashamed of this. And of course, if this is something that you are really struggling with to handle on your own while you also practice medicine and run the practice, we are here for you. So contact Shorr Solutions, contact our company. We are here. But that aside, let me talk about the 5 resume red flags when you are reviewing resumes. So these are in no particular order of importance, but I just wanted to give you that number. Number 1, if the resume is full of typos, that is a resume red flag. It means that there's going to be typos in patient charts. There's going to be typos in the EMR. You're going to have typos in email addresses when they collect information. They could not necessarily get phone numbers correctly. It tells me that they don't necessarily have somebody review their resume. And this is a document that is not written on the fly. It should never be written on the fly. So if they are not taking the time to proofread and put their best work forward for a resume, they're not going to be able to do that in your business. So if they don't know how to spell esthetician and they are an esthetician, that is a resume red flag. Number 2, if they do not have valid workplace experience, that is a resume red flag in our book. Now, I will share with you that it does depend on the position. So, for example, if you are hiring somebody for your front desk, AKA receptionist, AKA director of first impressions, if you are not new to the podcast, you have heard us speak about and use that term all the time. Now, if that is the case, we say that quite honestly, somebody with hospitality experience, somebody that has really customer service experience is far more worthy of that position than somebody that has 0 customer service experience. And they have that, we count that, like I said, as experience. However, I don't like as we look at medical providers, if somebody is a nurse practitioner or they are a physician assistant slash, what we're calling PAs at this point, physician associates, however you choose to go by. I will say that we are far more comfortable, and it is not a red flag, but when we are far more comfortable if they are being hired for injectables, that they have injectable experience. I never recommend your practice being the first place that they practice on a patient. So just because they took a weekend course does not mean that they should come in and on day one, they should truly be injecting your patients. That is not what I recommend. So we really want to keep an eye on this. That tells me that quite honestly, they're just a little bit too green. Same goes with laser experience, RF experience. So we want to make sure that if that is the position that they're applying for, that they do have experience. And we want to make sure that their level of education, their level of certification is on the same level as what is required legally to perform those procedures in your state. So please, 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 we know that it varies state to state. So please make sure that you know what is allowed in your state when it comes to a provider. Number three, if they have short tenures for positions for the past 5 years, they've only been at a practice 8 months, 6 months, 3 months, 9 months, and they job hop, quite honestly, they're going to job hop right on out of your practice. They're going to hop right on out. And it's going to leave you in that same position 6 months from now, 8 months from now. You're going to be retraining all over again. I do tell people that if they see that this happened in either in 2020, 2021, to ask the reasoning about it when you do your phone screening. So we want to make sure that we're not ruling out somebody that, for example, they had a practice that closed shortly after they became employed. There's all sorts of reasons that practice may have closed permanently, that practice may have chosen to downsize, maybe they didn't make it through COVID. So I really encourage you to just ask them if you see that in those 2 years that there is a frequency of short tenures. However, if this is a pattern that has gone on long before then, it's a pattern and something that I would say is definitely a red flag. Now, if on that resume, you take a look at that resume and you notice that they are putting years that they have worked there and not months. So in other words, if they are saying that they worked someplace from 1999 to 2000, that tells me that it could have been December of 1999 to January of 2000, i.e. 2 months. So we want to make sure that they're not looking to skirt the system that way. And you want to make sure that you are truly asking about months and years, not necessarily just assuming that 1999 to year 2000, that equals 2 years when it could equal 2 months. So let's look at that math. And finally, if they worked for either a colleague that you still in the industry want to be able to refer back and forth to, we don't steal from that colleague, or you're gonna cut the hand and chop off the arm in the hand that feeds you. So we want to make sure that we're really aware of that. But also, if they worked for a competitor of yours, and you know that job did not exist within the practice. So if they say that they were the event coordinator and you say, I know that this practice didn't actually hold events, or if they say that they were an injector and you know for a fact that only the owner of that practice was an injector, that is a resume red flag. We have actually seen that potential employees have applied to a practice not knowing that it's a practice they've previously worked at and said that they did jobs they did not do. So lying on resumes, it's absolutely a possibility. So we want to make sure we're keeping a close eye on that. And that, my friends, is really my short list of 5 resume red flags as you are hiring in these absolutely crazy times. If, of course, you need assistance hiring, we are here for you, and you are welcome to contact us. We are on social media at Shorr Solutions. Again, that's Shorr Solutions plural because we have more than one. I always like to say that. And we are also available at info@Shorr Solutions. So thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Shorr Solutions, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.